Hello comrades, my name is Fritz and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. On today's show we are launching a mission to Eve, and in order to do that I need to get Eve in the right position for our rocket's liftoff. So what I'm doing here is time warping until they're in relatively the correct position, and then we shall kick off with the episode. So I really shouldn't have put this in, but I thought I couldn't be bothered to wait until they were all aligned. I thought I'd just go ahead and do it anyway. So I believe that if we just let them go a bit more, that is about right. I'm just going to make sure I'm recording. Yes, there we go. And we are here at launch pad number 1 at the Kerbal Space Facility with Frovan Kerman in the Eve mission rocket, and as you can probably guess, it is a one-way mission. No one tell him that, obviously. Reason for that is because Eve's gravity and atmosphere is really thick and heavy, and we're gonna have to do a multi-stage mission with a huge lander, mainsail engines, solid rocket boosters, and the whole works basically to pull us off the ground. Now that's really not feasible in my condition because I can't be bothered to do that, so I just thought I'd take a one-way trip, a sightseeing tour onto the surface of Eve. And twilight launch. So I'm not sure why my flag has switched back to the Kerbal Space Program flag, but anyway, I've got the throttle all the way up, and I'm going to turn off the user interface and go for a more cinematic camera shot here. That's about right. Throttle all the way up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition sequence start. We have liftoff. Frovan Kerman is going to Eve. So basically, these two external tanks will drop off fairly fast. Yeah, they'll drop off pretty quickly. And then it will be down to these two big external boosters which feed into the central core to push us up into that initial gravity turn. Now, I'm using a rather nuanced design here. I have an engine cluster of 3 nuclear engines. I had to turn on the part clipping, the cheat, to actually get this to work, but it should actually be physically possible in the stock game. I'm not too sure why it isn't, but I haven't broken any laws of physics. So the part clipping is currently off, so if I had done something wrong, if I'd cheated, then if I'd properly cheated, then this would probably have disintegrated by now. But yes, my engineering work is holding together. Could probably be something to do with these struts, but we'll let that pass for the time being. Don't tell anyone I said that. Frovan Kerman is going up pretty well. Let's see. That. Brilliant. Oh no, I should have packed a barometer, like an air pressure sensor, because we are going to Eve, of course. Anyway, not to worry. And am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay, that's hours. I was looking at hours. Don't want to look at hours. 3 minutes, good. Okay, we're doing 136 meters per second. We're probably going a bit too fast for my tastes. I'm going to throttle down just a tad and let these external boosters do the work. Let's see. Yep, everything seems to be fine. And I did do a mission to Duna. Now, whilst I'm fooling about, trying to get to the correct speed and altitude, I thought you might want to see that. So I'm going to cut away from this mission for a while. I did prepare a slight snippet, insert if you like, into this video. So this is for now it from me. This is the past me. Sorry, this is the present me, recording now, talking now. But the snippet coming up is me from the past, so yes, time continuum paradox might get messed up a little. Anyway, yes, that's it from me, and I will of course see you on the other side. The Hammer of Odin is ready for launch, and there we go, clearing the tower with ease. Transposition and docking maneuver is in progress. We are spinning the command module around to dock with the lander in orbit, and dropping the first 2 outer rocket stages on our way into space. Lining up now, we look like we're a bit too high. Just tapping it into position. And there's the ladder in the window. Forward thrust. There we go. And contact. Oh, no. We have lander capture. Amara Odin making its way into orbit, into space 75 kilometers. Firing the engines for our orbital insertion burn. Cutting loose the Juno lander for its terrifying descent onto the surface. There it goes. We're on our own now. Not really sure what I'm doing here, just kind of winging it as I go along. We're almost there. Perhaps this has to be it, but there it is. Circularizing as we do, bravely does it. 50 kilometers. That is how we do that, ladies and gentlemen. Unilander coming down nicely, throttling up a bit more, and main engine stop, contact, we've landed. Engine shut down, we've landed on the surface of Ike, everybody. Isn't that brilliant? Lifting off from the surface of Juno for the final time, waving goodbye to the red surface. Final look. There it goes. Hands on the wheel, Corden, you're gonna need them. Isn't that brilliant? Come on, and Bill Kerman taking his first steps on the surface of Ike. A moment indeed. And lander busy rendezvousing with the command module, making sure everything's in the right position, and leaving Juno behind as a distant memory. Okay guys, we're coming up on external booster separation in a few seconds. Basically those two outer boosters will fall away. We are blasting a trail of glory into the sunset, and we're doing 750 meters per second. I hope you enjoyed that snippet, by the way. It was a rather tense mission, or a tense descent. And the tanks are about to run out, and 3, 2, 1, booster sep, flower of justice. There we go, that was splendiferous. We are experiencing a lurching roll at the moment. Hopefully that wouldn't be too bad, too long term. I have an idea that could be to do with the force from the Separatrons pushing the boosters away. That kind of buffeted the lower stage a little. And I've burnt way too much, I've wasted far too much fuel, because according to Scott Manley, I do have RCS, right? Yes, I've got RCS. Scott Manley, a prominent KSP YouTuber, the lower your apoapsis before you do a transfer burn out to an interplanetary body, the more efficient your burn will be and the less delta V you'll need, so perhaps I will lower that in future. And my apoapsis, I am pointing retrograde at the moment, which is slightly disconcerting. I should probably have thought about this before I sort of did that. I might actually miss my apoapsis, which is going to be really awkward. Come on, turn. Just give it some welly. Ooh, God, 40 seconds. 35 seconds. This is fun, isn't it? And power. Yes. I'm still going down there. 23 seconds. Come on. There's the prograde marker. 850, we're doing well. Now slowly angle, just so you don't rip the nose off. Yes, perfect. Lock that in place. Make sure nothing breaks. And we are in business. Okay, so orbit's looking good now so far. The disasters seem to be averted, and I might be running on this tank now, yes. This tank here is empty. 1,700. We are almost there. Yeah, we're looking good. I think we should be able to get into orbit, actually. And whoa, oh my god. The RCS is... Oh god, I didn't enable the SAS. That was stupid of me. Right, I've got to make sure I actually enable that before I switch to a map view of any sort. And orbit is still expanding. It's getting harder and harder to actually fire the engine as we get lower and lower. This is getting a little bit concerning. We're getting a bit of a shimmy going on here. 2,100, and here comes the orbit. And we have to push our apparatus up quite high, like we are doing now, because we are going to be dropping quite significantly into the atmosphere, even now that we are actually in orbit. 160, and bring that up to 60 kilometers and stop there. That should give us a good leeway, potentially. 667 units of fuel. I'm going to quick save here, just to make sure everything is okay. Have I got enough electric charge? Did I even put a solar panel on? If I did, where is it? Ah, there it is. Can I deploy those? Very good. Is this a 2x3 or 1x6? Ah, 2x3, okay. I don't think I've actually unlocked the 1x6. No matter. Let's check our resources. What are our... Okay, these are all, like, Eve-related scenarios here, aren't they? So yes, I should mention that there is a 2-week gap between the previous cut and this cut for reasons that I can't really begin to explain. But it doesn't really matter because you're getting a video and I get to record, which I enjoy doing. So there might be a few continuity errors, but other than that, everything should be as normal. Okay, we're approaching our periapsis now. So we can probably probs. Oh no, don't want to do that. I wanted to check on the position of Eve. Now, what we're going to do is burn outwards into interplanetary orbit, and then curve around here and hopefully meet Eve somewhere along this vague trajectory. At least that's the plan. Yes, so in effect, if I zoom out, and we should probably try to work out where we ought to start our burn in order to kind of slingshot us on the pre-suggested trajectory. Now, when we're burning out from, well, to go to do what we did last time, was we burnt at sunset, so, you know, on the sunny side of Kerbin, kind of slingshotting ourselves towards the planet. In this instance, however, we are going to have to go towards the sun, and in this instance, I think we need to burn around midnight somewhere near the periapsis. So, yeah, about 80 kilometers. Well, this is interesting. This is going to get... If I add a maneuver here and drag my periapsis out, and we'll see where that takes us. Okay, we've got a new solar orbit established here. So let's go ahead and see what's what. Right, so it's obviously quite high, so that could be easily cured with a bit of retrograde action. Pull it in, and oh, yeah, it looks like we slowed down a bit too much. Anyway, right, so that's obviously a bit too high. This could take a bit of fiddling around, and yeah, I guess once I've done that, I will see you when we're ready to do our interplanetary transfer. Right, so just a bit of fine-tuning going on here, and just making sure that my Eve encounter is all set up. That is certainly looking fine and dandy. 331 kilometers, 500 just. Eve's atmosphere does start at 100, so 173 would be a good place to burn. This is actually my second Delta V node, because I have one at 940 meters per second to slingshot myself into orbit, and then another one to slow down and enable myself to get captured into Eve's gravity well. So I'm here just aligning the spacecraft so that I can get on with the burn. We should get through this pretty quickly with the mainsail. Yeah, that should be fine. Just gotta wait 10 minutes and 8 seconds. So, time warping, obviously, until... slightly off, misaligned. Should probably zoom in a little more. You can see my second node lighting up the screens there. And yeah, I'm quite a way away from my node, actually. So I really think some more time warping is in order, although... Okay, I just did a test burn. 35 seconds with the mainsail at that caliber. Right. And time warp all the way around to where we said we'd burn, around the periapsis type place. Maybe because I'm going to run out of fuel mid-burn, I should probably start burning about here, because the nuclear engine will take a long time to spool up. And staging in, there it goes, separate. Fire the, whoa! Firing the rockets there, let's see. Probably see an instant replay of that. I'm not entirely sure what went wrong. Well, that was certainly unexpected in its own little special way, but I'm going to start my transfer burn now. The 3 nuclear engines are propelling us into Eve capture, or solar orbit transfer. In any case, what we are going to do is just continue burning. We do seem to be easing through this node very quickly with the 3 nuke motor thingies. And Frovan Kerman is indeed, well, 168 units of fuel in each of these outer tanks, and the central, which is still full, just aligning myself a little more onto the node, just to make the whole transfer system a little more efficient. 460 meters per second to go. We are indeed going to Eve. The nuclear engines are overheating quite significantly, but as long as I keep it below a certain threshold, everything should be fine. Should probably turn the lights up actually, because I don't want to be wasting electric charge on the dark side of Kerbin. And everything is peaceful inside the command pod. We haven't got too far to go until we finish the burn, but those 4 structural cubic struts on the outside of the fuel tanks are certainly helping keep the entire engine mount section on the straight and narrow. Nothing's fallen apart, nothing's broken yet, and that is perhaps a good thing indeed. Anyhow, I have actually positioned the Eve encounter node at roughly 100 kilometers above the surface of Eve. Now, the atmosphere coincidentally also starts at about 100 kilometers above the surface of Eve. So what I'm intending to do is a rather audacious aerobraking maneuver, which will save me a lot of fuel in the long run by using the atmosphere instead of the engines as a kind of air brake. But it doesn't really matter if this goes wrong, considering that it is in fact a one-way mission, but I'd quite like to pull it off and do some orbital science before I land, otherwise I won't get as much funds or reputation back at the ranch. But in that case, I've kind of tried to fiddle with the node and make it as precise as possible, and burn as precisely as possible, so that I don't have to use my engines, because these nuclear engines, even though I've got 3 of them, and we have left the sphere of influence of Kerbin to 1, and main engine stop. There we go. Frovan Kerman is officially on his way to the planet Eve. Now, I'm just got to make a tiny adjustment here, and make sure that's lined up. Yeah, it's purpose of the RCS to kind of align things at 0.1 meters per second. There we go, 0.0 auto saving, get rid of that, and our next node, pointing retrograde at the moment, we will time warp out, I think, to find out where that is. Where is it? Somewhere, there it is. Okay, so we are minus 2.1 degrees out. That shouldn't be an issue. I mean, it's not a massive inclination change. We can probably deal with that in due course. Now, good news on the Kerbal Space Program Fund. The new update, the 0.25 update, is coming out very, very soon, within the next week or so. And oh, I've completely passed up the node by time warping there. So I'm just going to load that up quickly with the F9 key. And yes, at the time of recording, squads have implemented new destructible space center environments. So by the time I upload this video, the new version of Kerbal Space Program will probably be out. And we shall indeed have fun. And yes, you can see, I've been time warped for a long time. We have indeed arrived at the Purple Haven of Eve, and I did set up a maneuver node in between cuts here. It's got a, 72 kilometers, 87, so as long as it's below 100 we can probably pull off this audacious maneuver without too much trouble. Anyway, I've got dangerously low monopropellant at 25 units, as you can see at the top right there, which is a bit concerning, although obviously I won't need any RCS once I'm within Eve's very thick and sulphurous atmosphere, but you know, it's always good to have an excess of fuel and time, essentially, when you're planning any kind of long distance interplanetary mission such as this one. But, you know, seeing as this is a one-way mission, it probably doesn't really matter so much. The node is in 5 hours. Just gonna time warp round at 1 minute 56 seconds. I'm just gonna start burning because the engine gonna need some time to spool up to full jet. And we can just get going in the opposite direction. And it's starting to swing around our orbit. Obviously we're not going to burn all the way into an orbit, we're just going to use the atmosphere to slow us down, but you know, it's good to get as close as possible from the outset right off the bat. And those 8 external tanks are going to run out quite soon, although they will take a while. Nothing more to say at this point, making sure that I'm not draining fuel from any other tanks, because that can happen and does happen. It happened to me in the Duna mission, the first Duna mission we did in Season 1. And most of that was post-commentated, actually, I should probably mention. So you better hear me talking about that, nattering on about that, but yeah. 400 meters per second to go, dropping fast below that in our Delta V deceleration burn node. And the mission, of course, for now has been a great success, although those engines are well on their way to overheating, which isn't such a good thing after all. But hopefully that shouldn't pose too much of a problemo. And yeah, well, yes, I am looking forward very much to the new update of Kerbal Space Program, the 25th year, or 25th kind of installment of the game. And it's set to be a good one. Now, the spaceplane hangar, something that we haven't actually encountered yet in our Let's Play series, has faced a massive overhaul. You see, the implementation of some community-led mods, such as, well, I'll give you an example, there's a mod called Spaceplane Plus, which adds more cockpits, more wings, more ailerons, and other spaceplane parts to the melee, the smorgasbord of aerodynamic attachments that we have at our disposal. Just throttling down here because we have a bit of a node left. Anyway, yes, so that's kind of fully integrated mod there, which should be interesting indeed. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Let's see how that pans out. And it's set to be a good one, as I said. And yes, our node is complete. We can just time warp around. Oh, a word on Minecraft. The new season will be coming out in the new year. Same with the 3rd season of Kerbal Space Program. Obviously, this is the penultimate episode, so I'll be doing something special. Well, I think the next episode will be filmed in version 0.25. Well, I assume that it will strongly. I mean, the update is very close now. And we've completed our deceleration burn. The green and purple atmosphere of Eve beckons us into its midst, and the purple surface can be seen through the cloud haze. This is set to be an exciting mission indeed, and I really should have done that ages ago. I mean, re-entry could easily have just ripped off the photovoltaic panels on the side of the space pod, and that would indeed have been bad, because it would have meant that we wouldn't have been able to transfer any of our data back to KSC, which would have been a disaster. And the spacecraft is becoming rather a bit of a pig to handle in the dense Evian atmosphere, which is simulating the descent, man's descent onto the surface of Venus. Eve, of course, the analogue of Venus in our real solar system. Although nothing much can actually really survive on Venus, even if we did manage to get down there in one piece, we'd probably melt very slowly. We certainly won't be able to spend very long on the surface, and isn't that beautiful indeed, the aurora over the atmosphere of Eve? Solar radiation being absorbed and disrupting the magnetic field lines in the Evian atmosphere. Taking a screenshot now, I think that was a good idea. And the aerobraking maneuver is indeed working. We aren't deep enough into the atmosphere to experience re-entry effects, though no doubt on the actual descent in the next episode we will, and it will be fantastic. The orbit is slowly pulling around. We are decelerating uncomfortably slowly at the moment, but I'm pretty sure this won't be an issue. The sun is rising, and we should slowly begin. We should come out of a phase which would have meant that we had no power for a while, which thankfully is over. I'm going to apply a bit of retrograde throttle here just to pull us into an orbit. Cheating a bit, but obviously I didn't calculate the retrograde maneuver too well. Oh, sorry, not the retrograde maneuver, the aerobraking maneuver. And we are indeed in orbit around the planet Eve. And in the next episode, in the next installment of Kerbal Space Program, The Quest for the Final Frontier, we will indeed be landing on the surface of this planet in this one-way mission of ours, and doing some science. So please do like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It motivates me to make more stuff for your own entertainment. My name is Fritz, and I will, of course, see you next time on Kerbal Space Program.